Hello. Gonna see who jumps on here. And I'm gonna try to get Instagram Live going with us. We'll see how that works out. Let's see who jumps on. Hopefully it's right at 1 o'clock, so I am on time. Let's see if I can get Instagram Live to cooperate. We'll see. There we go. Hi, Instagram family. All right. It looks like I've got Instagram and Facebook up. So let's see if that's going to work. I don't know. That might give us a weird angle. Yes, Gary, that's a Christmas tree in the background. Okay. While we're waiting to see if anybody else jumps on. All right. If I'm looking at y'all weird, I apologize in advance because I have my computer going with Facebook Live and my iPhone propped up on my computer screen with Instagram. So I'm not sure where to look at. So I may be looking cross-eyed. I apologize for that. But yeah, I'll tell you about my Christmas tree while we're waiting for some more folks to jump on. So back in, I want to say it was October. I'm not sure where you live, Gary, but I'm in North Carolina. And hey, Matt. And can't read who else jumped on there. I'm sorry. But hello, everybody that's jumping on. Gary first noticed my Christmas tree in the background there. Instagram people, there you go. Y'all see my Christmas tree. Yes, it's still there because back in October, here where I live, we had, I think it was October. God, I can't even remember when it was. Anyway, it was sometime last year. And we had a terrible flood. And so our basement flooded bad. Like we had this much water in our basement floor. And so usually after Christmas, everything is stored in the basement. And so the Christmas tree that I did have was stored in the basement in its box like it should be. And it got ruined because it was on the basement floor. So it ended up in like 1.5 feet of water. So that's why my Christmas tree is still right there because, well, we just didn't take it down and put it in the box because my husband was just going to leave it set up and carry it downstairs like that. So it hopefully wouldn't get ruined if we got some rain down there again because now we're terrified. Since the insurance covered nothing. Nothing. Yes, we have homeowners, but they covered nothing because we're not in a flood zone, so we can't get flood insurance. So because we didn't have flood insurance, they wouldn't cover it. Yeah. So anyway, that's why my Christmas tree is still in my living room. Yeah. We should at least put like some Easter decorations on it, right? Yeah. So yeah, if it's going to stay here in my background, I'll decorate it. Okay. So, Sparrows Point, Maryland. Okay, what is that near? My dad used to live in Maryland, and I have a brother that lives there, but I'm not sure where that's near. You could decorate the tree with Corona bottles and I-95. That's a good idea. That's funny, Matt. Yeah, okay. You Facebook people can't see the Instagram comments. So my brother-in-law just said, decorate it coronavirus. So yeah, that would make sense. That would be funny. Okay. Anyway. Hey, Sarah. How are you doing? I miss you. Okay, before we get started, how is everybody doing on this Saturday of being shut in after I don't know how long? My glasses look crooked in that video, but they're not on my face anyway. Yeah, I think Rebecca, my daughter, she lives a couple counties south of me. Their shut in started today. Shut in, stay home, stay in place, whatever you want to call it. It started today. Ours officially starts Monday at 5:00, but we've been doing it anyway. So I don't know what difference it's going to make. And their rules aren't really that strict. The only thing I'm seeing anything different right now is that if you get caught out, which is a good thing, I think, if you get caught out and you're not going to the grocery store, the doctor, the pharmacy, church, if there's less than 10 people, I think that's it. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's the only places you're allowed to go to. Then you get a class 2 misdemeanor, which is punishable in North Carolina, I should say, because I know y'all are other places. In North Carolina, it's punishable up to $1,000 fine and 60 days to 6 months in jail. Yeah. So I'm not having any part of that. I don't know about y'all, but I'm keeping my money and staying out of jail. So I'm staying home. Yep. All right. So let's see. Hey, Keith, Dana, I'm not sure which one that is, but hey to whichever or both of you. Sarah, you're able to go to the greenways and walkways. Yeah, I think they said, which makes no sense to me, you're allowed to go out to the parks to exercise. Okay, here in Taylorsville, in my little bitty town, we have 2 parks maybe, and they have kids' play equipment. If I had small kids anymore, I wouldn't be taking my kids to the playground that other kids have played on, and I know they've not been cleaned. No, I'll take them out in my yard and let them play. So that's just my opinion. Anyway, all right, I'm trying to pull up today's conversational piece. Oh, and by the way, let me fill y'all in on some happenings on my channel before we get started. I have a big week coming up. I'm really, really excited about. They have our playground blocked off, but you can just walk the walkway. Yeah, now that makes sense. Like walking the tracks and stuff, that makes sense. But yeah, I'm not going to a playground I wouldn't take my grandkids there. So yeah, but that makes sense, Sarah, the walkways. So my big week coming up while I get this pulled up is, I'm really excited about it. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be stuttering around, y'all. I'm trying to get pulled up my Instagram feed. Let me get this pulled up and then I'll tell you. Obviously, I'm not able to do 2 things at once today. Okay, so Monday at 4:00, tune in. Be sure to tune in Monday, 4:00 p.m. Every time that I say is going to be Eastern time. So if you're in another time zone, just translate it to your time zone. 4:00 Eastern Monday. I have an interview and I'll go ahead and tell y'all because I'm going to post it. I was going to say, I don't want to give giveaways, but of who it is, but I will, so y'all can be excited about it. Look him up. Be familiar with his music. If you have any questions for him, because I know we're doing a live. So we're doing Facebook Live Monday, 4 o'clock with Ryan Clark. He is awesome. He was, all of the interviews I have coming up this week are, no, I take that back. All but one are, two of them are artists that I named on this week's Hot New Artist Showcase. And one of them is from an earlier week. So Monday at 4 o'clock is Ryan Clark. He was named this week. So go check him out. He's got a new video and single out. It is fantastic. He's on Facebook, Instagram, all your music channels. So go check him out. Monday, 4 o'clock live for him. And then if these definitely Wednesday night at, I think I'm correct in saying 7 o'clock. It's either 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. I'll let y'all know before it gets here. But either 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock on Wednesday night is Michael Walker. And he is equally fantastic. Now, he has a totally different sound than Ryan does, but he is equally fantastic. So Michael Walker music. He's also on social media and all music outlets. So look him up. He's Wednesday night. And then I'm super excited. I'm super excited about all these people. But also on Wednesday, as long as she's feeling up to it, and if y'all look her up, you'll understand why I said that, Miss Ava Page. And I'm so excited to interview this little girl. She is, I say little girl, she's a teenager, but to me, she's a little girl. So excited to interview her. She's just so sweet and her voice is dynamite. Love her. So I've got her scheduled for 4 o'clock Wednesday. As long as she's feeling up to it, nothing changes. So y'all be sure to tune in for those. That's going to be Monday and Wednesday. 4 o'clock Monday, 4 o'clock Wednesday, 7 o'clock Wednesday. If any time changes happen, I'll let you know, but just be looking for those posts. I will have them up to remind y'all of the country music artist interviews coming up. I know Ryan's is going to be live and Michael's is going to be on Skype, so it won't be at that time. It's going to be a Skype interview, so I'll post it afterwards. And then I'm not remembering correctly right at the moment. I'm sorry. I have so much written down in my notes, which way we're doing Ava's, but I'll update y'all on that. But anyway, Ryan's is coming first. That's out Monday at 4. His is live. Okay, so onward with our talk. So this is what Stacie's live show is all about. If y'all missed my announcement yesterday, to start off with, I'll just give you any announcements like I just did of anything that I have going on. And then, we'll discuss what's going on with the coronavirus. If y'all want anything else y'all want to discuss, put it in the comments, questions. We'll talk about whatever. It is a talk show. So this next part, I definitely want y'all to be interactive with me about, because y'all don't want to just hear me talk, and I don't want to just hear me talk either. So, but what I had said I was going to do was, if you've ever looked at my Instagram page, you will notice down the middle of it, well, Instagram people, you're on Instagram, but Facebook people, that's blurry, I'm sorry, but you can tell down the middle here is a blue line. Well, that blue line is all quotes. And I love quotes, especially if I'm having a bad day, something positive, uplifting to get me through. Quotes, scriptures, anything positive, inspirational, uplifting. I think that's why I love music so much. Music is extremely inspirational to me. Even if it's a sad song, for some reason lifts me up. Music is healing. Music is definitely healing. If y'all have ever looked at any of my hashtags, that is definitely one of my hashtags. But to me, quotes are too. So I love quotes, and that's why they take up a good space of my Instagram. and hopefully make it look a little prettier too. But so we're going to take one quote each day. And hey, Barb, we're going to take one quote each day and talk about it because we can make a discussion out of it very easily. So let's go. For instance, today's quote is, and I'm going back to the beginning of my quotes because I have a few of them. It won't take us long to catch up, I don't think, because I don't necessarily post a quote every day. I might post 2 a day, 1 a day, or none. So it just depends on how many posts I make a day. So let's go backwards to the first one. The first one says, change yourself and fortune will change with you. So my question is, what kind of changes have you guys made in your life that you saw a change in your fortune? And I don't necessarily mean wealth. You know, you don't necessarily have to make a change in your life for it to be monetary. It could be any type of change, physical, spiritual. You got married, you had a baby, you took on a new job. I definitely like to think of this. We could look at this whole coronavirus situation is definitely a change, but that's a negative. So I'd rather not look at the negatives. Quotes are supposed to lift you up, right? When they're inspirational quotes, they're supposed to lift you up. So it's meant in a positive way. So we'll keep it in a positive way. So until I see somebody comment or ask a question that wants to take over, I will just tell you about my big change. And it started off as a negative, but I've changed it into a positive, and it's taken me years to get there. And this is kind of my story of how I ended up on social media. And if nobody else speaks up, I guess this is going to be kind of like my introduction to how I ended up on social media and how I started doing all of this. By profession, I am a registered nurse. I specialized in home care and in wound care. I worked for home health. I saw anywhere from 5 to 10 patients a day, depending on what it was. And I loved wound care. That was my thing. That was my passion. That's what I loved the most. Or, I hate to say this sounds bad, but I didn't want anything bad to happen to my patients. But if I had an emergency situation, I would thrive in that. So I would have done really well in the emergency room, because prior to me being a nurse, I was an EMT and I worked with the ambulance service where I used to live. And so I love that emergency on scene adrenaline rush type thing. So I love nursing. That was my passion. I thought I was going to do that for the rest of my life until I could not physically walk anymore. Well, sadly, that's what happened. I got really sick, and it was a gradual onset of sickness. And I'm not going to bore y'all with all those details, but it was a gradual onset of the sickness, and I got really sick. But for about 3.5 years, we had no idea what was wrong with me. Doctors could not find it, couldn't figure it out. I saw doctor after doctor, specialist after specialist, and nobody would diagnose it. I was having excruciating headaches, pain from head to toe. My legs would suddenly just become extremely heavy, weak. I would pass out. If I got too hot, I'd pass out. If I was tired, I'd pass out. I would just pass out. And numerous other symptoms, but those were the main ones. And this headache was just debilitating, and I could not get rid of it no matter what I did. It was a 24/7 headache. And so I got diagnosed with migraines and tried this, tried that. Nothing worked. I was hospitalized numerous times. Finally, after 3.5 years, in December of 2013, I was finally diagnosed. And this is after I was told I was crazy. I don't know how many times. I was mental, um, and also had a neurologist try to say I had Munchausen syndrome. If y'all aren't familiar with that, it is that I was making up stuff for people to feel sorry for me. Right. Nobody wants to be practically bedridden, taken away from their job that they love, not being able to do things with their kids that are still at home, that are playing sports, and just, your daily life. So, no. Um, and the symptoms that I was having and the things that was happening, I don't know anyone that could fake that stuff. So, needless to say, I went to another neurologist, because I knew it had to be something in my head, literally. And so I went to a specialist, a neurosurgeon specialist, because we had guesses of what it was from one neurologist that I saw. So I was sent to a neurosurgeon specialist, and that's when they finally diagnosed me with what is called Chiari malformation. And if you're not familiar with that, you can look it up. It's CHIARI malformation. Awareness is key there. Come October, y'all will. If you've been a Facebook friend of mine for a while, you've seen my awareness post. You'll see it again this October. So I was diagnosed with Chiari, as well as abbreviated. It's called POTS, POTS, but it's Postural Orthostatic Tachycardic Syndrome. And even though that sounds like it's something to do with your heart, it is, but it isn't. It originates from neurological. So basically, my brain doesn't tell my heart what to do correctly. So that's what was causing me to pass out all the time. There is no cure for Chiari. There is no cure for POTS. There is just treat the symptoms. One of the treatments for Chiari, and what shortly, real simplified, what Chiari is basically my head was too big for my brain. That's a very simplified explanation of it. But it is where in the back of your head, right at the base of your neck in the middle, your skull is literally too small. A while ago, I think I said my head was too big for my brain. See, it also causes you to mix your words up. I know people do that all the time, just ordinarily, but I do that a lot, and it's because I can't help it. It causes you to mix your words up. It causes you to, a lot of times when I'm stuttering around and I'm looking for my words, it's because I know the word that I want to say, it's there. I just can't think of the word right then. And it can be something very common. It can be like, I could be talking to my husband and say, will you bring me something to drink? And I can't tell him that I want Coke because I just can't get that word out right. It's not coming to me. So something that common can just like slip away from my brain. But anyway, it's where your skull is too small for your brain, and your brain is literally like being smushed together back here. In the back, we have two holes in the back. We have tonsils in our brain just like we do in our throat. And the little hangy down things that you have that are your tonsils in your throat, you have them in your brain as well. And there's holes in your bottom of your skull, and the tonsils are supposed to just float up here like this. Well, mine didn't. They completely plugged this hole, and that prevents the spinal fluid from flowing through leaving your head, going through your body, and it flows continuously around. Well, mine couldn't do that. So the spinal fluid would be trapped in my head, and that was causing all the issues. So anyway, that's a very simplified explanation, and my brain can't really function to explain much more than that right now. So again, Chiari information. I'll write it in the comments if anyone wants to look it up. Anyway, so that was what was wrong with me. Finally, I was diagnosed with those two conditions, and I needed immediate surgery for the Chiari. And not everyone with Chiari has to have surgery. Instagram people, I'll put the Chiari in the pots in those comments later. I don't want to pick up my phone right now. The surgery, they go in and they cut those tonsils to release them from that hole so they'll float back up here like they're supposed to, so the spinal fluid can go back through. So it is open brain surgery, and that's what I had to have done, and that was back in February of 2014. The surgery is not a cure. It's supposed to stop the progression. It's supposed to stop the progression of symptoms. I kid you not, at this time, I had about 30 different symptoms that was affecting my daily life. I still deal with about, I would say, half that. So my surgery was about 50% successful. I mean, if you look at it like that, it did stop the progression of the major symptoms, but it did not stop the progression of all the symptoms. So it left me completely disabled. According to state guidelines and according to safe practice for nursing, I obviously cannot safely practice nursing. There's no way I would put someone else's life in my hands. So that destroyed my life. And again, I really did not intend to go here today. I really thought someone would interject and we'd be talking more about this quote. But anyway, this is going to serve as my introductory video of what happened to Stacie and why she ended up doing this crazy thing on social media that she's doing, but now loving. So anyway, the sudden neurological illnesses just totally disrupted my life. And that first year was crazy. And I sunk into a very deep depression, which you could understand. I already had very high anxiety, which it just goes along with Chiari. So that just increased my anxiety, increased my depression. I'd never had depression before this, but this caused the depression. And so just a chain reaction of events that first year. It was awful. Then I was actually at the doctor at my 1-year checkup. I was having my 1-year checkup and I was on the tilt table. If anyone knows what a tilt table is. If not, I don't mean to sound rude, but look it up. I'm trying not to make this drag out too long. But they move the table in different ways to check your blood pressure. I was on that tilt table having that test done, and I had my first seizure. Never had a seizure before in my life, and had a seizure on the tilt table. And we were hoping, oh, it's just a fluke thing. The tilt table caused it, whatever. Because of the pots, one-time thing, right? No. I now have seizures, sometimes weekly, sometimes daily. I might go 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We never know. I'm learning my triggers. I know what causes them. Sometimes I can feel them coming on. Most times I can feel them coming on. Sometimes I can't. So if I'm ever doing one of these lives and I'm not going to fall over, but I might just stop talking and it's looking like I'm staring at you, but I'm not doing nothing. I'm having a seizure. And just go ahead and hang up and I'll fix the live later. But nobody freak out. Nobody call 911 and send them to my house. I promise you, somebody's here with me and they know what to do. I'm rarely ever left alone. If I am, it's not for long. So anyway, yeah, so that pretty much destroyed my life, or so I thought. You know, my career was over. I felt like a crappy mom, felt like a crappy wife, all the way around. I just felt crappy, felt like a crappy person. And I just wanted to crawl up in a hole and be like, y'all deserve better. I don't misunderstand. I never thought of killing myself. Never, 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 never. Let me make that clear. Facebook, Instagram. I never thought of killing myself. I don't care how depressed I got. I never went that dark. But with that said, mental illness can strike a person that fast. Depression can happen that quick, and somebody can go down that deep. Please, if you know someone suffering from depression, whatever the reason is, believe them, take them seriously, pay them attention, get them help, please. I know firsthand how quickly depression can grab a hold of someone and suck them under. It can happen fast. And there is no shame. If someone is listening to this that is suffering from depression, there is no shame in it. It is no different than someone else having a broken leg. The only difference is the outside world may not see your depression because you get really good at covering it up. You get really good at hiding it. I got really good at pretending like I felt good. I got really good at pretending like everything was great and everything was fine. And still to this day, a lot of times I will put a smile on my face and say, yeah, I'm doing great. When in reality, I feel like crap. I about said the S word and I had to watch it because I don't know if my granddaughters are watching, and they would be like, Grandmama, don't say that. So girls, that's for you. Grandmama caught herself. But I mean, I can literally be feeling like total, you know what, and just want to be laying down because my head is hurting so bad, but I have to put a smile on my face and suck it up and pretend like I'm okay. And I do that a lot, more than people know. 9 times out of 10, when somebody says, hey, how you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm okay. I say I'm okay because nobody really wants to hear it. But my point is, if you know someone or if you are suffering from depression, seek help, get help, ask for help. If you know someone that has it, ask them if you can help. Ask them how you can help. And be sincere, mean it. Someone that's going through that, they just need one person to know that someone truly cares. And that can make all the difference in the world. Okay, I'm off that soapbox. That's for a whole nother conversation. But anyway, so onward. This is getting really long. So anyway, once I got my team of doctors together and still have, I have about 5 doctors, specialists that I see every month. I see at least one doctor, if not more. I have my team of doctors that takes care of me. They're great. They're awesome. They're wonderful. And my neurologist covers most things. And so he is wonderful. Without them, I don't know where I would be. With the help of my neurologist, and medications, he got me out of this depression. And of course, my family. I couldn't have done it without my family and a select few close friends. I got out of this major everyday depression. And, I finally realized that, and this has been over the course of time. I told you my surgery was in February of 2014. we're now in 2020. I didn't start this social media until the end of December. It's another story I won't get into. Let's say I really didn't start it until January of this year. And I just was finally like, Stacie, you're never going to go back to nursing, or probably not. Hopefully someday. I still hold out hope. I keep my license active. I always will. I do continuing education all the time. I stay up to date on everything medical. Because who knows? They could come out with a cure tomorrow. And I would go back to work in a heartbeat if I could, in a second if I could. That's how much I miss nursing. When something is truly your passion, you don't just walk away from it and never think of it again. So, yeah, I would go back in a heartbeat if I could. So I hold on to that hope that maybe someday I can. But I finally got to the point that I needed to make a change. No one else was going to change it for me. I had to do something myself. I was going to pull myself out of this rut that I was in, thinking that this was the only life that I could lead, sitting at home watching TV every day. That's it. With the occasional of my husband or my kid tugging me to get out the door to go somewhere or do something. Otherwise, I was just content staying here. And here I am stuck here again, thanks to the corona. But anyway, the whole social media thing, it started out as something, I'll just do this a little bit to see, what's going to come of it. And then it has just grew and grew, and my ideas have changed. And now I have now settled in on what I'm doing. I focus on travel and country music, all things involved with that, which is fashion and accessories that go with traveling. If you're going on a cruise, what do you take with you? Travel tips, anything to do with travel, food on a cruise ship. I can't tell y'all how great that is. And country music. I love country music and the artist and everything that has to do with that, and Nashville. And I know it's not just Nashville, but I love Nashville. So it's something for me to get excited about. It's something for me to wake up for. And not that my family wasn't. Of course they were, but they were and they are and they always will be. But I didn't feel like I had a purpose other than being someone's wife and someone's mother, and I wasn't doing a great job at that. I needed something for me, if that makes sense, to where I felt like I was doing something to give me a purpose and eventually will contribute financially. So that's my goal. My long-term goal here is I will probably never give up my Facebook. I will probably never give up my Instagram. My YouTube channel is up and it's running, and it's getting there slowly. My eventual goal is to have a video podcast. That is what I want to have. I want to have a huge podcast. So that's my goal. That's what I'm aiming towards. That's what I'm asking all of you guys to help me attain. There's no way that I can reach that goal without all of y'all. So I'm asking for y'all's help, y'all's support, not money. I don't need your money. I just need your support by coming on to my lives, by sharing, by liking, by commenting. I know a lot of people don't really know or understand unless they're involved in kind of like this end of social media. if you're just casually on Facebook or Instagram, you don't really understand how important the likes or the comments are. To somebody on my end that's trying to grow my following so I can get to that video podcast, the likes and the comments and the shares and showing up for live events is so, so important. There are actually people behind our computers, not real people. Y'all, I caused one heck of an uproar by making people think that I honestly thought there were people in my computer. I didn't mean that literally. Okay. And apparently it had offended some people so bad that I can't even fix that now. Whatever. People chill out. Don't take everything so seriously. I did not mean there were literally people in my computer. I was not freaked out or strung out on drugs. Come on now. Anyway, side note, I digressed. But there are people in Facebook world and Instagram world that follow analytics, and they take all the likes and the comments and all this stuff, and it's computer programs. Y'all know what I mean. It's not actual people. Okay, everything's done by computer programs. I'm gonna get myself in trouble again. It's computer programs that do all this stuff. But so the likes and the comments and the shares and all that stuff matter. If anyone tells you different, they're lying. And I'm just real. I'm real. I tell you the truth. So yes, like my videos, comment on my videos, comment, like on my posts, and share them. And I much appreciate it. Coming on the lives, that helps as well. I much appreciate it. I really, really do. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Because all that is going to help me reach my eventual goal. And my eventual goal is to have a video podcast. And who knows? Who knows how big it can get one day. And when it does, it's going to be because of all you guys right here. And I won't forget that. I will remember that. And so that is my change that changed my fortune. Is it going to make me rich? Probably not. Do I care? Nope. I didn't start doing it for the money. It was just something that I wanted. And you know what? I haven't made a dime. I've not made a dime. So one day I hope to. And that goes along with the goal. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't. But totally lost my train of thought there. See, I told y'all that happens. But anyway, that is the change that happened in my life that will change my fortune. So, and not necessarily monetarily. It's fortune in all the other ways that I mentioned at the beginning. So I hope I didn't bore y'all too much, but that is my story. That is my introduction, and that is how I got here. And so that, I hope y'all understand, those that were with me before I changed my name. It used to be 70 Phoenix. I'm not giving my age away by telling you this. My age is out there when I've introduced myself to y'all. I was born in 1970, so that's where 70 comes from. And Phoenix, I always have loved the Phoenix and the meaning behind the Phoenix. She will rise from the ashes. Say no more, right? So that was, I actually have a tattoo of a phoenix. Figure that one. So that was my name for a while. That was very fitting when I was first going the direction that I was going in. When I landed and stayed planted in just travel and country music, then I felt like it needed a different name. So Route 66 Country Music just seemed more fitting. And even though my son doesn't get that name, probably most of the rest of you do. And if not, send me a message. I'll explain it. But thanks for tuning in today, guys. I'll go ahead and cut it off now. I kept under my time, so I'm glad. So I will stick around for just a moment. If anyone has any questions, comments, just let me know. Questions or comments below. And after I cut this off, if somebody watches the replay and you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them. Comments, of course, put them below. Any questions, put them below, tag me, or send me a direct message on IM. I will say the best way to reach me quicker is a DM through Instagram. I get a lot of junk messages somehow through Facebook Messenger. So I don't go on there very often. Very rarely do I go on there, and I'm trying to get away from even responding to comments on there because I have to filter through the junk, and it hurts my head, just to be quite honest. So if you want to message me, follow me on Instagram and DM me. I respond to all DMs on Instagram. So thanks for tuning in today, guys. I really appreciate it. Sorry if my eyes have not been looking like it's looking at y'all. I've been going back and forth between the two screens. So thank you. I hope y'all have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Same time, same place. Y'all have a great night. Take care. Bye.